First John chapter 2, verse 9. And he that saith he is in the light and hateth his brother is in darkness even until now. Verse 10. He that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him.
So here it is. We're being given a parable, for a lack of a better term, or an analogy, should I say, of a brother who loves versus a brother who doesn't. He's saying he that is in the light, he who says he's in the light and hateth his brother is in darkness. So when you may be walking in your house and you are less apt to trip when the lights in your house are on, right? Same goes when you love your brother. You're less apt to look to go against him. So here, that's basically what this analogy is saying. It's saying if you claim to be in the light and hate your brother, you're in darkness. In verse 10, it says, he that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is no occasion of stumbling in him. So when you're in the darkness, you're more apt to trip over something because you can't see. And if you and if you trip over something, you know that's something has been put before you to cause you to stumble. But whereas when you're loving towards your brother, you're within the light. So when we got all the lights on in here, I can see where I'm going. I can see how to maneuver. And that's just like wisdom. Wisdom gives you that sight. You know, wisdom tells you, you know what, don't do it that way. Do it this way. Whereas when you're in the dark, you don't have that wisdom guiding you. So you don't know which step to take. You're taking a step and you're stumbling. Continue with verse 11.
Verse 11. But he hateth his brother is in darkness.
And see, here it is. If there happens to be a storm, and your lights go out at night and you start to make your way around to find a source of light, you may not see the shoes that may be laying in the middle of the hallway or whatever it is that may be in the kitchen. You're more apt to trip, or whatever other obstacles that may be in your home. You'd be more prone to trip. Such is the case when you lack love for your brother. You are more prone to covet. You're more prone to kill. You're more prone to steal. You're more prone to bear false witness against them, and so on. So when we walk in love, we have access to that wisdom that guides us and teaches us how to treat our brother. Nobody walks around their house in pitch black because it's not safe. That's the same thing you're doing when you don't have love towards your brother. Continue.
And walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
So it's just that much easier to walk in grace and mercy. When you're sitting and thinking about a situation with you and a brother, it's best just to for the benefit of the doubt, just to have a loving mind state about it, rather than allowing yourself to say, well, he did this for such and such reason, and allowing yourself to go to a place that you shouldn't go. So let's go to 1 John 4, chapter 4, and verse 20.
First John chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love the Most High, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love the Most High, whom he hath not seen?
So here it is. Just another precept to back up what we've seen so far. You can't claim to love the Most High if you can't love this brother that's right here next to you every day. Where it is you've never seen, spoke with the Most High. And the Most High, his word is saying, you don't love me unless you love the creation that I have put on this earth. I mean, it'd be like somebody telling me that they love me and then would be willing to disrespect my children. That's not love. see my child in need and not be willing to give, or see my child has made a mistake and offended and is asking for forgiveness and not willing to forgive. So the Most High is saying the same thing. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth the Most High love his brother also.
Black and white. It's just that clear. That's simple. So that's something. If it's an issue that we need to come before the Most High and say, Father, I have a problem when someone offends me that it hampers my love, because you can't love the Most High unless you love your brother. Now, if we find ourselves in a position where a brother has offensively acted against us, whether it be intentional or accidental, Christ has given instruction as how to handle the situation righteously rather than secretly harboring ill will, because we've seen what kind of fruit grows from such seeds. Just by looking at Cain and Abel, we see what happens when you harbor these ill feelings toward a brother. So let's see how Christ has instructed us to handle these occasions when a brother may be have offended us. Let's go to Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Yeah, Matthew 18, verse 15.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone.
So, if a brother shall trespass against thee, this means if someone offends or sins against you, he says, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. Tell him between the two of you. Well, brother, when you came over my house, I had $20 on top of the table. And when you left, it was gone. I think you stole from me. Address it with the brother. You know what I mean? If it's an issue, if you in need, brother, it ain't nothing to ask, and it ain't nothing for me to give it to you. We gotta. That's what the love of the brother is for. You need a little something. I can take care of you, but you ain't got to steal from me. Now, if this brother stole that, you are sure he stole it, and here it is, he's denying it. Let's say you may have cameras in your house or something, and you go back to the camera and you look at your video and you see the brother pick it up when you walk into the bathroom to use the bathroom. He's sitting there waiting for you to leave the room so he can grab that $20, and you see it. So this brother took it. And the brother say, nah, man, I don't, and get offended at you for saying something about it. Go ahead.
St. Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brethren shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his faults between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
So if it happens just as the example I just gave, and the brother says, rather than denying it, the brother says, yeah, man, you're right. I feel bad about that, man. But, I hadn't ate in like a week, man. And I was just too proud to say anything about it. Can you forgive me for that? I'm sorry. I was hungry. Next time I'll come to you about it, man. You gain a brother. So here, from that situation, or just addressing that brother, just between the two of y'all, you done cleared it up. You understand this brother a little bit more. This brother's having hard times. And now this brother knows that he's having hard times. And he done came down off his pride a little bit more. and he'll feel more comfortable to come to you with something. And just like you will now be more comfortable to come to him because y'all have formed more of an intimate bond because y'all understand each other's situation better. So that's what it means when it says thou hast gained thy brother. And in this situation, when it's just the one and the two talking together, nobody else is forming any opinion about this brother for what he did. For him taking that $20. Nobody's looking at him as a thief. And nobody's looking down upon him because he's without. Because you kept it between the two that it happened between. So go ahead and go to verse 16.
St. Matthew's chapter 18, verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
Every word may be established. So if this brother is not willing to come off of his pride and say, nah, man, that wasn't me. You know, I'm kind of offended that you would assume I would do that to you. Then you take this brother between you go get some witnesses. If on an individual basis the offender is not willing to hear the one who was offended, then the one who was offended should bring 1 or 2 witnesses and speak to the offender again. That way, it's no hearsay. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church.
Before we continue on, you know, in this step right here in verse 16, when it's saying bring 1 or 2 more, when that brother who goes to get the witnesses, the one who was offended, he gets the witnesses, he's to be silent concerning the incident until both parties are present. So that there is no partiality toward one side or the other. You know, the one who had his money stole, you shouldn't go to 2 other brothers of the church and be like, man, I need y'all to come mediate this, man. This brother done stole $20 from me. I seen it. I know he did it. And he don't want to admit it. So here it is. I'm coming with two guys behind me that are already feeling a certain way about the brother we're going to go sit with. So you done tainted the playing field. The balance is on your side. The way it should be handled is you go to 2 brothers of the church that are righteous brothers and you say, I have an incident with another brother. I'm trying to do this the right way according to scripture. I confronted the brother. And, I just want some witnesses here for this. So if y'all would just come and join me and this other brother as we hash out this situation. That way they don't know anything about what's going on. So the 2 witnesses must be righteous brothers of the faith. And once the witnesses are in the presence of both parties, then each party can explain their side without any outside bias or any outside points of view, and a righteous conclusion can be formed. And I've actually been in a situation where I was one of the 2 parties that witnessed something. And the way it was handled, it was perfect. It was handled perfectly. We were brought together, and each party gave their explanation, and each party explained their side. And when you have an unbiased witness there, you can't come back later and say, no, I didn't say that. That's not what I said, because it was witnessed, and you saw what happened. And when both parties are willing to own up to what they did, then you can get a righteous conclusion, and you can heal. The 2 parties can heal from it and grow together. It's a righteous thing. It's the Most High put these things in the word for a reason. This is the law that we're supposed to live by. Forget what the law books say. The law books aren't about bringing love and peace between the fellow man. Because if we had love and peace and we handle things like this, the policemen would be out of jobs. Matter of fact, speaking of that, when the Bloods and Crips came together in California, the police weren't happy with it. They started setting up incursions between the 2 One fronting as a Crip, one fronting as a Blood, going into these different neighborhoods to keep the rivalry going, because that money that has been declared for the war against drugs, they didn't need it no more, or the gang war. They don't want us to be in love towards each other and in peace. The laws aren't set for that. That's why we have to look to the Most High's laws. So who can tell me that the law is done away with?
Word of the scripture is still there.
Yeah. Go ahead and read verse 17.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church.
So if you go and get these two witnesses, and the brother's still saying, nah, man, don't even take me through this process. I did not steal your money. I tell this witness that, I tell him that, and I'll tell you that. I didn't steal your money. This is the next step. You bring them before the church. Go ahead.
And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen, a heathen man, and a publican.
So, if the offender is still unwilling to hear, bring it before the local body of believers, so that everyone is made aware of this brother's actions. And if he's still unwilling to line up to the law and fess up to what he's done according to his offense, the whole body would know not to continue in fellowship with this brother until he's willing to come down from what it is that he has done. Whatever offense it is, be it minor or small, because as minor of an offense as it is, now he's taking it to another level. He done lied. He done took it to a level of bearing false witness. You know what